I previously talked about when dupes go after dupes, but now we're going to talk about when dupes allegedly are mean to their employees. That's it. That's my intro. Hey, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about Matilda Djerf, Djerf Avenue, and some claims that have been made by her employees. And I don't even think I need to really call them claims anymore because she seems to have acknowledged that this happened. Djerf Avenue seems to have acknowledged that this happened. And so I think we can kind of go ahead and operate under the assumption that these claims that employees made in this article in a Swedish publication, there is truth to these claims. Okay, but I'm probably still going to use the word allegedly just to protect myself. I've been following this situation as it's been unfolding. At the time we were recording this last night, Matilda did finally herself make a video talking about things and a post on her Instagram. And a handful of you have been reaching out to me asking me to cover this because I did my video when dupes go after dupes about Djerf Avenue. Okay, yeah, so over a year ago, October 24th, 2023. In the video when dupes go after dupes, I was talking about a specific instance that was unfolding via TikTok, that's where I heard about it, where Djerf Avenue was doing copyright takedown requests, DMCA takedown requests essentially, of any creators that were posting or talking about dupes of Djerf Avenue products. They are predominantly known for their pajamas, specifically their fruit pajamas and fruit robe. Patterns and things like that, I believe that is copyrightable. That's something that you can actually copyright. There's not a lot of design things that you can copyright in fashion, but I believe patterns and things like that is something that a designer can own. It was a very odd situation. I thought it was a very hostile way to go about dealing with the issue of dupes, of instead of going after any sellers that were selling dupes, they were going after any creators that happened to post about it or even mention it. In one instance, one of the creators that they sent a takedown request to and like had their video copyrighted, it was someone who had bought the pajamas from Djerf Avenue and then made a video saying, I love these pajamas, don't buy the dupes, this is worth the money. There was another one where it was like, oh, but if you don't want these, here is another like pajama that is not at all a dupe, but like had like cherries. It was like still fruit pattern, but like not at all trying to mimic the Djerf Avenue ones. The whole situation was weird. I thought it was very much, you know, biting the hand that you're feeding at the same time. Essentially, that sounds like that's a bad analogy, but like you get my point, like going after customer bases and then also going after, in a lot of instances, very small creators. And so in some instances, they weren't even creators, they were just users. Very weird situation. I did not think it was a good move. I just realized I filmed this whole video with the Christmas lights off, so that's fun. The reason I called it when dupes go after dupes is because Matilda herself became an influencer for a very specific style of dressing that I believe they call Scandi style, Scandinavian style, then started making Djerf Avenue based off of clothes that she became popular for wearing. Hermes is digging. Essentially making dupes of products that she already owned and liked wearing. I haven't heard much from Matilda recently, aside from the fact that she just did a big campaign with Rode. So the original article is from Aftonbladet. I don't even think I pronounced that right, but I wanted to make sure I gave the publication. This is a Swedish publication. I can't read Swedish. We're going to be referencing the article via a Glamour article, The Matilda Djerf Toilet Scrubbing Scandal Explained, from Stephanie McNeil. Matilda Djerf has created an empire off her personal brand of effortless, chic, Scandinavian cool. According to anonymous former employees in her native Sweden, her demeanor is anything but chill. The former fashion blogger turned influencer turned entrepreneur has been accused of enacting a reign of psychological terror as the leader of her fashion line, Djerf Avenue, bullying employees, calling a plus-size model fat, and once allegedly demanding an employee clean her personal toilet. The bombshell report in Sweden's newspaper Aftonbladet is slowly making its way to English-speaking social media, where fans are flooding her accounts with questions and criticism. In response, Djerf told the paper she felt truly sorry and apologized for any instance where a worker felt mistreated. 2019, Djerf founded her fashion line Djerf Avenue along with her boyfriend Rasmus Johansson. The brand sells clothing staples in muted colors, as well as hair products, homewares, and more, and ships worldwide. The scandal itself, a bombshell report in Sweden's Aftonbladet, has allegations from 11 former and current Djerf Avenue employees of mistreatment and bullying. The report and the accompanying video, which features the accusers telling their stories in shadow, are all in Swedish. But according to the online translation, Djerf has been accused of bullying, favoritism, creating a toxic work environment, being fatphobic, and more. In one bizarre allegation, an employee claimed that the newspaper that Djerf designated a toilet in the office for the use of just herself and her favorite employees, putting a sign on the door reading, "Please do not use" in English. When the sign fell down, the newspaper alleges, an employee was made to scrub the toilet because it had been used by an unapproved person. I don't even have a comment for that. I'm just like, one, ridiculous. Djerf herself and Pernilla Bonney, a spokesperson for the company, responded to the allegations in detail, including the toilet claim. When asked if it was reasonable that an employee who was not a cleaner should have had to scrub the toilet, Bonney said obviously it was not, and they would work to rectify the situation. Bonney defended the right of Djerf to have her own toilet in order to stay healthy, but said the use of it by favorites would end. Everything that's been alleged is being essentially confirmed as true. Others accused Djerf of swearing and acting condescending to her employees, creating an environment full of terror in which employees regularly broke down in tears. "I've never been so afraid of a person in my entire life," said one, according to Rough Translation. Another recounted an alleged instance where Djerf saw photographs of a plus-size model and claimed she didn't want to use them because the woman looked so fat. In response to claims that the company's stated values of inclusivity didn't match reality, Bonney told the paper that if there are employees who feel that we do not live up to our values, it is obviously something we have to work even harder on. In her own statement, Djerf said she doesn't recognize herself in some of the allegations made, but apologized to any employee who felt mistreated. "I take the criticism that has come forward very seriously and want to be clear a safe and respectful work environment is crucial to me, both as a person and the founder of Djerf Avenue. If any staff member has felt mistreated or ill-equipped in their role due to my actions, that is something I am truly sorry for and apologize for." Did you catch it? "It was never my intention to contribute to a work environment that negatively affects anyone, and I am sorry that there are employees who have had such experiences. If any staff member has felt mistreated, it was never my intention. Employees who have had such experiences. I'm sorry, I will be better." I think that's what's needed here. However, another Swedish woman, founder Cecilia Blankens, weighed in to defend Djerf, saying that the male CEO wouldn't face the same scrutiny, according to the paper. I agree, but also, that doesn't make it okay. Why can't everyone be nicer? An insane concept. Just having a private bathroom, I don't think is that big of a fucking deal. The fact that you had instilled such a environment of fear around said bathroom that when there seems to be some translations I'm seeing, it's like they suspected that someone had used the bathroom or that someone unapproved had used the bathroom. The fact that then either they fearfully scrubbed it or were asked to scrub it, regardless of the way it was, that's crazy. Publicly being, oh, we're very inclusive, and then privately being like, that model looks fat, is crazy. Would a man be called out for the same shit? Possibly not. Does that make the behavior okay regardless? No. And then Glamour also asked, am I going to care about or remember this in 2 weeks? It's hard to say whether the allegations will be but a blip in Djerf's career and reputation, or if it will have an impact on her brand, but no matter what, you're probably going to remember the toilet thing because, come on. That's the entirety of the Glamour article. Because of this all going around, and because, again, on social media, things are forever. People started going through discussing Matilda's, demeanor online as an influencer. And I'm going to be totally frank with you because I've never understood this. And I've seen this with people recently, where people have just decided to assign kindness to influencers and strangers, okay? People that they have never interacted with. Now, if you have an interaction with someone and you're like, oh my God, this person is like so genuine, this person is so kind, they were so nice, they did X, Y, and Z, or like, I just felt very seen in our interaction, that's one thing. But I haven't seen that when it came to Matilda or other people. And so I saw this speculation of people like, oh yeah, she's cultivated this very nice girl demeanor, and I didn't understand that. I just really didn't understand what nice image meant, because like I hadn't seen many videos of her talking. Most of the videos that I had ever seen her post were just like photos of her style, and like her style is fairly like not consistent with mine or anything like that. I'm not a big oversized blazer person, but like I have a fairly simple like day-to-day style for myself that I personally like. But I never would look at these photos and be like, oh yes, she looks nice. I don't know, she reminds me of my mother a lot, actually, looking at her now, like in this vein like that, which I mean, is that just there's a conversation to be had here and I'm not fully fleshed out. I was gonna say, is that just pretty white woman privilege, because my mom also got away with a lot of shit. We'll talk about Matilda's story post in a little bit, which I'm very glad I screen recorded everything because they're expired now, because it was just to her Instagram story. One video that was on Djerf Avenue's page on YouTube, now all gone, but some people reposted them. Clips from this Djerf holiday special that they did, like Djerf Christmas or whatever, where it's like they're like decorating for Christmas, where they're like doing the whole thing with Christmas in their offices, and Matilda is walking around with a microphone and interviewing employees. The way that she's talking to people in a lot of ways is very telling, and some people were like, oh, this shows everything.
So important to know, if anything fucks up, it's not our fault, it's their fault. I'm joking. We're all a team. And are you happy being here at Djerf Avenue?
I'm very happy being here at Djerf Avenue. We have so much fun together.
Don't we?
We do.
We do.
Sometimes like a little bit too much fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
No.
Remember, I'm your boss. No, I'm kidding. We love having fun here at the office. We're a good
We
team.
do. We are.
The one that took me aback, where I was like, excuse me?
So, how long have you worked here?
Since September.
You're a new one. Fresh little baby. And you're also young.
Yes, I'm 22.
Okay, 22 is actually not that young. I'm 25. I don't know why I felt like you were going to say 18. She's not 18, guys. She's 22.
I don't know why that bothered me so much. Some people that have worked in fashion or are fashion journalists have talked about this as well, and they say that they are not surprised by some of the claims by the Djerf Avenue employees or anything like that, because fashion is one of those industries that is a very coveted industry to be a part of. And so it's not actually uncommon to see mistreatment in the workplace, poor wages, things like that for like interns and the like, because the people running these businesses know how much people want to get involved in these businesses. And so they know that, hey, you'll put up with some stuff because you know that there's another 18 people that want your job right now just to be close to the fashion industry. Again, doesn't make it okay. So many more of videos and clips from that, the Christmas episode. In some instances, it wasn't even so much where I was like, oh, this person's afraid of her, like uncomfortable with her. I was like, is she just like never around? Like some of the interactions where I saw in this video, I was just like, is this the first time she is speaking to this person? Which would give some credibility to the claims of favoritism. Now, I screen recorded this video, but I'm going to play you Matilda's story post where she was apologizing.
I'm not sure how to...
I didn't realize she did the sigh at the start of this video. Oh, there is a formula. I assume she talked to a PR company, which would be smart. The statement is not good, and people are not receiving it well, but we'll talk about that more in a second.
I'm not sure how to start this video. So I want to start off by saying that I am so genuinely so sorry to anyone that I have let down and to anyone that I have hurt. I know that I've been quiet on social media the last couple of days, and I wanted to meet with the Djerf Avenue team before going on here. And I know that my words will fall short, and I know that what I'm saying now will fall short, and I know that it's not an answer, and I know it's not a solution, but I hope that so many of you know that my way of expressing myself is through words, which is why I've tried to put my words and my future actions into a text that you can all read, and I hope that you will take your time to read it. And again, I want to say that I am so sorry to anyone that I have let down. And I want to say that I'm sorry to anyone that I have hurt. And yeah.
You said some of the good words. You said I am so sorry to anyone that I have hurt. I am sorry for my actions. You did that. What did you do? You know, like, I'm sorry for my actions. That's not enough anymore. You know, I am sorry for creating a hostile work environment. I am sorry for showing favoritism in the workplace. I am sorry for making inappropriate comments about models that I hired to do a job, not addressing the comments or anything like that. So this is 4 slides that she posted to her Instagram. Over the past few days, I have been quiet on social media. My highest priority has been to meet with the Djerf Avenue team and speak to them. I am fully aware that my words here are not an answer or a solution, but for me, it's important to write this directly to you. To anyone who I have hurt or let down, I want to start off by saying I'm genuinely sorry. When I started Djerf Avenue, I never expected that the company would be what it is today. With so many team members and so much responsibility, I wasn't ready. I had never led a team prior to this. I had never built a company prior to this. And under a lot of stress, high tempo, and naivete, I failed to be a leader and colleague I wished to be along the way. Allegedly just being mean, creating a hostile work environment. They weren't saying you were like a pushy leader. They were saying that you created an actively hostile work environment and showed favoritism and we're fat phobic, among other things. And for that, I am so, so sorry. I wish my growth happened faster. I really want to underline that I'm extremely committed to getting it right and to continuing to grow. I wish my growth happened faster. Again, the claim from the article is that these were former and current employees of Djerf Avenue, which would imply that at least some of this behavior is happening currently. Your growth is happening when you were called out on it? Or are you just implying that you grew and this is in the past? Because what is in the past also? You know, what did you previously do other than not being the leader that you wanted to be? We are constantly working on improving and developing the internal business, everything from structures that need to be set in place to new initiatives. Ongoing work, and this year we've made some important changes to improve the work culture of Djerf Avenue. Amongst other things, we have hired a more experienced management team. We have introduced monthly anonymous surveys to collect feedback and take action. Side note, anonymous surveys in your workplace are never anonymous. Don't trust the anonymous survey thing. We have also set up an external organizational psychologist to assess our workplace. We are also in the process of bringing in an additional external HR professional to support the organization. So this whole thing, you were saying this year, these are things that we did. So unless you had a heads up that this article was coming out months ago, in which case you should have done concrete changes publicly before then, okay, instead of waiting for this to drop, if that was the case, which I don't think is the case. I think these are things that you are rolling out now, or again, you are trying to make it seem like you have been rolling this out because this behavior that they are alleging in the article is you from the past, as in prior to this year. And that does not seem to be the case. And also, based on your response, and according to Pernilla Bonnie, it doesn't sound like these weren't real. And even then, Bonnie defended the right for Djerf to have her own toilet in order to stay healthy, but the use of it by favorites would end. That's currently. Currently, you have a bathroom that was being allowed to be used by your favorite employees. External HR professional to support the organization, things like that. Those are all good. Those are dandy. But the timeline you're not being clear about. Moving forward, I'm committed and want to focus all on becoming the best leader and colleague I can be. I'll keep learning and working to ensure Djerf Avenue is a safe, inclusive space for everyone. I want to end by saying thank you to all of you who had honest and transparent conversations with me over the past few days. How about I am taking management courses? How about I am working with, a sensitivity coach? Anything about the alleged fat phobia and other comments that have been made. What are you doing aside from I will be better? I'm going to be better. Like, what actual concrete changes are you making? Because it's one thing to say that, it's another thing to actively take in the feedback and learn and do better. Comments are like hidden on the post, but like if you tap the comment button and they pop up. Experience has nothing to do with being a nice human. If you needed experience to be kind, then you weren't a kind person to begin with. You don't need to be ready to be nice. I wish my growth happened faster. Vomiting emoji. Sorry you just scrubbed my toilet because I've never been a leader before. HR and psychologists cannot change the way you treat your employees. I don't like her statement. I don't like her reply. We'll see what ends up happening here going forward. Do I think there will be a mass exodus of people working for Djerf Avenue? If there is, I don't think we will publicly hear about it, at least from the Djerf team. It'll be something where we hear about it from employees. And like I said originally as well, people know that there will always be someone ready to take your job in fashion, and that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be active efforts to change the space and make it a better, more inclusive space and more respectful. One former employee claimed that Djerf yells at us, calls us names. Another alleged Djerf would lose her temper if there was no coffee, if someone was sitting in the wrong seat, if her food hadn't been heated up. While these accusations are damning enough, others strike at the heart of the values Djerf's brand is founded on. One of these is size inclusivity, with Djerf Avenue clothing coming in sizes XSS to 4XL. According to the report, Djerf responded to images of a plus-size model in Djerf Avenue campaign by saying, "We have to reshoot this because she looks so fucking fat in these clothes. We can't show that." I don't recognize myself in all of the claims that have been made, and I've chosen not to comment on individual cases. However, I do believe it's valuable that these concerns are being raised, as it gives both me and Djerf Avenue the opportunity to grow and improve. This article also brings up a good point, quote from one of the responses to Matilda's Instagram post. Starting an apology with "if" is not an apology. Yeah, I think one person translated the article and then everyone else is just running with it because I'm finding the exact same quotes. Ooh, I don't like that they just did that. I tried to exit hollywoodlife.com and while I backspaced to go back, it gave me another screen of, before you leave, I don't like that at all. Sorry, tangent. Do I think this will stop her from selling $190 blazers and, let's see, $140 Ready Set Go cardigan? No. Especially going into the new year, I'm hoping that more people will be responsible with their money and, you know, reset going in and decide where they want to support and put their money and everything going forward. This will definitely take a hit in the long run. Do I think this will be the downfall of Djerf Avenue? Potentially no. Sometimes influencer fan bases are fickle. The fact that apparently her whole fan base believed that she was like nice and kind based off of her posts and things like that, this shaking up that could be the downfall of her personal brand. I don't know if it's quite at that level yet because we've talked about this a lot, where the true success of a influencer brand or creator brand is when it surpasses the reality of the creator. And if it succeeds without them involved, it's very unlikely, but it has happened. If it grows past their social media and things like that. Djerf Avenue does have its own identity. This being intertwined with it is not good. Even the comments on the Christmas video though, the amount of people that are like, this is exactly like this boss I had, is staggering. And I think a lot of people have had that experience where they are dealing with someone who is on the surface very bubbly and smiley and nice, but is also very under the surface, vaguely hostile, very vaguely condescending. And it's not even sometimes vague, sometimes it's very in your face. People recognizing you in their bad bosses, never a good sign, especially when that's who you're selling to. So we'll see how this all plays out in the long run. At the very least, I hope she is serious about becoming a better person to her employees. At the very least, if this company continues, I hope it continues positively going forward and that her employees are in a better environment. Did you hear about this? What are your thoughts about this? Have you ever had an employer that was like this? Do you think this is going to affect Djerf Avenue in the long run? Do you think that, you know, there is a concrete path, an actual path forward that leads to this being a better working environment for the employees of Djerf Avenue? Let me know, comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. Reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder to use code SWELL for 10% off on gamer subs. Shout out to my channel members who tell us to join channel memberships. You can go ahead and click the link down below. Have a little day. Goodbye. Crazy to me is in the original article, there is a photo of the alleged "please do not use" heart sign that was placed on the toilet.